turn my camera on just for a minute or two here, and then I'll have to turn it back off actually just to make sure that I can have a good screen share without any delays. But again, my name is Erica. Thank you so much for joining this webinar. I've been with Appfluence for almost 6 years now, which is kind of crazy to say. Time really flies. But during those several years with working with the company, I've actually had the opportunity to talk to a lot of our firsthand customers, our long-term users, and something that we've started to understand is that email management is it's a huge challenge for a lot of people, whether their inbox is just getting bombarded with emails or they're just having a hard time prioritizing them, keeping track of all the action items that are sent through emails. I'm sure a lot of those things can kind of resonate with most of us on the call today. So with that being said, that's going to be kind of the base of the webinar today is effectively managing your emails by using Priority Matrix with your Office applications. So I'm going to flip my camera off again, and I'm actually going to start screen sharing. So this session is being recorded. I'm going to send it out to all of you right after the meeting ends. So if you do have to check out early, it's no problem, but hopefully we can all stay together until the end where I can answer your questions. So just to kind of recap, what we're going to be looking at is effectively managing your emails with Outlook 365 and Microsoft Teams, using all of these applications hand in hand with Priority Matrix, streaming it through your Teams platform specifically. So again, email management. This is, when I hop on calls with customers, I'm like, hey, what are you all struggling with today? What can we look at? If not the first thing, it's definitely the second thing that people say is email management. My inbox is flooded. I'm receiving dozens of emails every single day, and I'm struggling to keep track of them and respond in a timely manner. So with that being said, the first thing that I typically ask people is, well, hey Tim or hey Samantha, what are you currently doing to manage your emails? And again, over several years of continuously asking this question several times a day, I hear three common things. The first one is, well, I typically flag my emails or I leave them unread. Both of these strategies are there to bring those emails to the person's attention so they're not just entirely forgetting about them. And lastly, a lot of the times people try to move these emails to different folders. So again, I'm almost positive that this resonates with everybody on this meeting today, because if you're not using Priority Matrix or, let alone a solution specifically for email management, this is kind of what you're left with. And that's okay. I mean, Outlook has been around for a very long time and people are just doing their best. But ultimately, what it comes down to is those solutions are just not effective, which is why we're all connecting today, because I really want to be able to help you find a better way to manage your emails. So again, what those approaches lead to is an overwhelmed inbox. When you leave all of your important emails unread, I know, at least for me, that would look like hundreds of unread emails. And what happens is that I'm not seeing prioritized emails. I'm not able to easily share these with my teammates or easily get reminders and notifications about these emails, which leads to people forgetting about them, in turn, potentially forgetting to respond to your clients. And then oftentimes digging through your inbox looking for emails when somebody's like, hey, did you respond? What's the status of this invoice we're looking for? It's just it's honestly just kind of a giant mess. Again, not to rag on anybody today. That's why we're all here today, is to kind of put those habits on the back burner, involve Priority Matrix a little bit more, and more effectively manage those emails, be able to find what you're looking for quicker. So hopefully so far, everybody on this meeting is probably kind of shaking their head like, yep, that's definitely me. And we're here to fix that. So don't get too down about it. That's the hardest part of the webinar, is just to kind of accept that maybe you're in that boat, and let's move on to something a little bit more positive. So, what makes Priority Matrix different? Why are we able to help so many people in similar positions to yourself? When you use Priority Matrix, with Microsoft Teams and Office 365, you're able to prioritize your emails alongside your meetings and other tasks. So there's a couple views specifically designed to show you really everything that's on your plate, and that will include emails. So we're going to show you how, well, let me keep that thought on the back burner. We'll circle back to that. I'm going to show you how to use notifications, due dates, and reminders directly through Microsoft Teams and Priority Matrix. So again, even if you're like, okay, I need to follow up with, with Mike in 3 months, you're not going to forget about that because Priority Matrix will send you several reminders to kind of gear you up to circle back to that email. Again, with Priority Matrix, once you get your emails into this centralized location, you're easily able to share updates with your teammates and also share emails with them without having to forward it back and forth, causing an even bigger traffic jam in your inbox. Lastly, kind of circling back to the first option, but you're going to be able to get everything you need in just one place. So when your manager's like, hey, Erica, what's the status with those 10 emails we sent out? It's not, hang on, give me a second to dig through my inbox. It's here we can actually see these on our automatically created meeting agenda, and we can kind of get through that meeting with all the updates we need to see. So today I'm going to show you how you can use Priority Matrix, Microsoft Teams, and Outlook 365 in unison. The Office 365 apps are so heavily used, but I don't think people totally understand how Priority Matrix can work. It's kind of that linking factor. So you can actually spend your whole day in Teams and be able to see your priorities, your emails, and your meetings, and really how well these three tools can work together in just one platform. You're not going to have to jump back and forth. So again, I'm going to show you how you can kind of button everything up, use them together in one place. I wanted to share this quote with you all, which I actually just received from one of the CEOs that I've been working with. But what he told me is that Priority Matrix is user-friendly. Having all tasks in one place allowed our team to stay organized and efficient. And this is not something that's easy for people to achieve when they're using, 10 different platforms. So again, looking at using Priority Matrix with your Office tools, that's exactly what this leader did to kind of come to this quote and be able to honestly share this with me and feel confident that we are supporting them this way. So to get started, and then the next step, we're actually going to look at the Priority Matrix demo, but I want you all to understand that you can download Priority Matrix to actually integrate it with Microsoft Teams. You'll want to add the Outlook extension, and then you're good to go. You don't need to install it anywhere else, but you can, in fact, use it on your Windows, your Mac. We do have a web and a mobile application as well. So feel free to, be kind of crazy, install it across all those platforms. I use it everywhere. I definitely use it on my mobile device. I love having access when I'm kind of on the go. But again, most importantly, what we're focusing on today, first and foremost, is getting it installed to your Office 365 applications. All right, so as I promised, we are going to switch to the Priority Matrix live demo here. In my opinion, the most important part of this whole webinar, so you can actually get a real feel for how this will be working for you. Okay, so what we're looking at here, this is my Priority Matrix, and I have it running directly through Microsoft Teams. I always suggest pinning it open because I like my Priority Matrix app to stay open for me. So if I jump somewhere else in Teams, it's still going to be super easily accessible and quick to find. For those of you who are looking at this and you're like, all right, I literally have no idea what's happening on the screen. I just want to figure out how to manage my emails. We're absolutely going to get to that point, but I want to kind of lay a foundation of simply what's on my screen here so I can start connecting the dots. Priority Matrix allows you to create different projects, which you can either use by yourself as a personal task management solution, but more commonly, people use this with their teammates, with their direct reports, to be able to collaborate. What I mean by collaborate is give visibility, share status updates, communicate, set deadlines, and all in this one central space. So these are different projects that I've actually singled out because this is how I see our customers using Priority Matrix for specifically for email management. Granted, if I were to take off this filter, there would be dozens of other projects that are not email related. So keep that in mind. This is not a tool only for email management. You can use it for all of your projects and all of your tasks. But again, today what we're focusing on is the email management aspect of all of this. So again, these are just some kind of miscellaneous projects that I've set up. Number one, I see a lot of people tracking their leads, whether it's leads that are coming through tickets, leads that are coming through a shared inbox, a personal inbox. A lot of organizations like to get all of those leads into this one project so they can easily delegate them out and kind of share status updates super quickly. Another option is kind of from the engineering or IT side of it for customer feature requests, whether it's from internal employees or external users. We want to get that into just one place for you. Lastly, meeting requests. Maybe you want to get all of your emails that are people asking to meet with you in one place. So again, these are all miscellaneous examples based off of how I've seen people be successful, but please set up your projects in a way that makes sense for the types of emails that you're getting. So when we open up one of these projects, you're going to see these 4 quadrants. And I promise in just a minute, we'll get to the Outlook extension. But again, we're just kind of laying the foundation here so you know what to expect when you start using this tool. So again, this would be the example saying customer feature questions, to share with my engineers, with my sales team, whoever it might be. We want to get them in this project so we can all work together. So super quickly, I'm going to simply add 2 people to this project, showing you all that now we're in the central space together. These people are now able to see this project, and I can actually go in here and I can delegate to them. So this would be an example of an email that I've already integrated in. I've assigned it to somebody. We have our due date set, and now I can say, hey, Bella, can you handle this for me? One more thing I want to point out is the quadrants. These quadrants they're customized. I went on to the right-hand side and I changed them to be very specific for this project. Again, feel free to do the same. I know everybody has different types of emails. They're going to prioritize them in a different way. So set up your project to support your personal needs and give you that success of email management. So, all right, everybody's probably wondering, we understand the foundation. Show us the Outlook integration, how we can actually get emails into Priority Matrix. So I'm switching to my Outlook here. In the top of my toolbar, you're going to see the Priority Matrix extension, and the Send To project is where you're going to focus. So we're going to want to click on this. Honestly, very importantly to keep in mind is to pin this open. I had somebody just ask me yesterday, hey, Erica, I can't use this extension if I have to open it every single time. Good news is you don't have to do that. You just have to pin it open. And then if I click on a different email, you'll see that it's just updating, but it is staying open for me. So we'll go back to this first example. So in terms of manually prioritizing your emails, you're going to open it up, hit Send To project. On the right-hand side, you'll see that the subject of the email is now turned into the item name. I'm going to put webinar example just so we can all stay on the same page and find this email easily together. Where we see projects, these projects are coming from the ones you created through Microsoft Teams. So another, kind of misconception people have is that, well, I thought I was going to be working 100% through Outlook. You're going to be prioritizing your emails through Outlook, but you're actually going to be spending the majority of your time working through Teams. Again, we can pick the quadrant where we'd like to prioritize this. We can pick our due date. So let's say, hey, I'm definitely going to get back to this person by Monday. I hit create action item. That's a slowed down example, once you get familiar with it, you'll be able to fly through all these different emails, prioritize them all super quickly, just in a couple minutes. So I get back to Microsoft Teams, and here's what it's going to look like for us. So I open up my customer leads project, and here it is. Here's the example that we just created together. On the right-hand side, this is all of our context. So if I'm like, this is actually super relevant for my teammate to be aware of, I add her to the item. She's now been notified. In the notes, depending on your security preferences, you can have the whole entire body of the email copied in here, or you cannot bring it along like I've done in this example. Totally up to you. Again, I can say, hey, Bella, can you review this email for me and set up, let's just say we need to set up a meeting. I can send that comment to her. So now I'm communicating with Bella. I've got my due date set, so I'm not going to forget about it. My team is aware that I'm on top of this lead that we're working with. And what's great is if I mark this item as completed, it's going to go away, meaning I finished this task, no longer important for me. But if at any time, maybe it's a weekly review, or the customer's like, hey, I never heard back from you, whatever it is, you can always go back here and you can see your finished items. And this is going to work as a log of everything that you've done on this item. What's super cool and becoming more and more popular with Priority Matrix is to use this as a system to see how long it's actually taking you to respond to these emails and close them out. So at the bottom, you'll see it just took a few seconds since creation. That's kind of a funny example because we worked through that really fast, but maybe it's a couple hours, maybe it's a couple days or a week. You're going to be able to see that, and then you can start to understand how quickly your team is responding to those customer emails, and any type of email for that matter. At the end of the week, you're actually able to generate a report to see the average time it's taking you to close out these items from the date of creation. So that's kind of cool. So that's just one example of an email that we prioritized. Now think about it from the bigger picture. Any customer emails, tickets, orders, inquiries, whatever your company does, and whatever types of emails you're getting, put them all into Priority Matrix into the correct project. The big question is, okay, great, I put all my emails into Priority Matrix, but I still don't understand how that's helping me more than just putting them into Outlook folders. It's helping you because number one, you're going to get a reminder when your due date occurs. So you're not going to forget about this email. You can also schedule reminders as well. Maybe you want it every single day until you complete this task. That's definitely an option for you. When you leave emails unread in Outlook, unfortunately, nobody's reminding you to pay attention to that email and circle back to it. So again, the alerts are going to be working in your favor so you don't forget about these emails. Next up, I would love to show you the agenda view. This is so amazingly helpful for myself and for all of our users, because what happens here, and again, this is a huge question, is how is this actually helping me? Why am I putting my emails into Priority Matrix? You're doing this because Agenda will show you all of your due dates for today and actually the upcoming week, every single day broken down of what you have to get done. So this would show me miscellaneous action items that are not created from emails, just kind of brought up more organically. Priorities are here. Emails, here we can see this email icon. These are all emails that hypothetically I have to get back to today and handle. And we're seeing meetings. So here's actually the webinar that we're in today. I have a couple more webinars coming up this week, which I'll tell you about in just a minute. We can see them added to my agenda here. So at the start of the meeting, I promised I was going to show you how we're using emails, Teams, and Priority Matrix in one place. This is going to be kind of the start of that example. We're seeing priorities, emails, meetings, and I can completely understand everything that I have to get done today. So again, this is agenda. This is the agenda view in Priority Matrix. I also want to show you something that's very special and unique about using Priority Matrix through Microsoft Teams with your teammates. We jumped to the one-on-one view here. So this is actually kind of giving you a sneak peek into what else Priority Matrix can do, which is meeting support. I have Pablo, our CTO, chosen here as my example. And let's pretend I'm getting into a meeting with Pablo Monday morning and we're saying, hey, what are the shared priorities that we're both working on? Let's go over some updates. Priority Matrix automatically creates this meeting agenda for me, showing me all of my shared priorities with Pablo. So I can quickly buzz through this list, share all my updates, and kind of move on with the day. But again, that's kind of a sneak peek of something I'll be covering later this month about managing meetings through Microsoft Teams. But what I really wanted to show you is at the bottom where it says Office 365. This is going to show you every single shared email that you have with that person. So again, you get into a meeting with your manager and they're like, hey, what's the status of all 8 of those emails that I forwarded to you or that we were both CC'd on from, the management team? Now it's here, I have them right here. Let me tell you the status instead of hang on, give me an hour to dig through my inbox and find all those. And hopefully you're able to find them by searching through Outlook. You don't have to do that anymore. You can very easily see it right here through the one-on-one view. And on top of that, exactly like we did through Outlook, which was prioritizing our emails, you can actually do it right here. So what I did to kind of backtrack is I clicked on the email, I did send to Priority Matrix. I can choose one of our shared projects between Pablo and I. Let's say this is going to be due at Monday at 8 a.m. I need to talk about this again. Put it right here. And now I've created a shared task between Pablo and I. It's not only a shared task, though, it's an important email that I know is relevant for both of us. So that's how powerful it is to use Priority Matrix through Microsoft Teams. We're actually giving you a window into your inbox. So if you never want to go to Outlook again, well, maybe that's unrealistic, but you know for sure you can spend a whole lot less time digging and looking through your emails. Lastly, what I want to show you all, well, not lastly, there's actually 2 more things that I want to make sure we're all aware of. The one-on-one view is amazing if you're looking at shared priorities and shared emails with a specific person. In terms of having kind of a bigger picture, the search view is going to be your go-to. Again, I promised you at the start of the meeting that I would show you how Priority Matrix combines priorities, meetings, and emails into one place. This is going to be another example of that. The search view is showing me everything in my Priority Matrix, emails and tasks between myself and all my teammates in this example. And at the bottom, for Office 365, we're showing you all of your upcoming meetings. So here's another webinar that I'm doing actually, shared files, and all of your emails. So let's think about it this way. I'm looking for everything that's relevant to a client that I'm working with, or maybe a license proposal that I sent out. Now, instead of looking through meetings that I have with that person, emails, meeting notes, text messages, the deal is we're in the search view and I typed in a keyword here. Now I can see every single Priority Matrix item that has this keyword, every single meeting. So maybe I have a license review set up with this person, and every single email that has that keyword. So what we've done is we've honestly taken the headache out of looking for, all the relevant information across all the platforms you're working in, and we've given it to you in just one space. So again, like I said, if you want to spend a lot less time in Outlook, this is going to be your solution. Similar to the one-on-one view, you can actually prioritize your emails again through the search view. So again, I know I keep harping on this, but this is going to be your saving grace. If you feel like you're stuck in a pattern of searching for emails, not being able to find them, and forgetting about tasks that are assigned to you through emails, you don't have to worry about that anymore when you use Priority Matrix. So let me check my notes to make sure I didn't forget about anything super important that I wanted to share with you all. Okay, so I'm going to jump back to our presentation here very quickly. So some of the key takeaways that we just looked at, and then we'll open it up for the Q&A. We're able to see our emails, priorities, and meetings in one place. And you guys are probably like, yes, we get it. You already said that 100 times. And honestly, I hope that you feel that way, because that's a huge, a huge value proposition for a lot of people who are using Priority Matrix. And not only that, but it's a huge time saver. It's going to make your day so much easier when you can go to your agenda view and see, great, here's everything on my plate. I don't have to worry about looking through 10 different platforms to make sure I'm not forgetting about something. You're going to be able to switch contexts less often, find what you're looking for in one place. And again, you can very easily track your emails, discuss them, and share them with your teammates when you use Priority Matrix with Office 365. So that was a lot. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I kind of need a breather after dumping all that information on you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a second here. And I think that a question may have come through in the chat. Let's see. Okay. So I have a couple prepared common questions for you guys in case nothing comes up. But what I want to do now is to give you guys the option to either send a question through the chat, or you can actually raise your hand and I can take you off mute. Perfect. Sandro, I see you. I'm going to find you in the participant list. What happens here is I have allowed your microphone. So now on your side, you can actually take yourself off mute and we can talk to each other.
Awesome. Good. Erica, thanks. Amazing so far.
Awesome.
But I will admit, I must confess, I missed the part about how to integrate with the email. I'm looking at agenda views, I'm looking at all my tasks, but I'm gapping out on the email piece.
Okay. And do you mean you're not sure how to get emails into Microsoft Teams, or you're not sure how to install the extension into Outlook?
No, I've got the extension into Outlook
Okay.
now. It's getting the email kind of integration piece.
Perfect. No problem. So to kind of start you from the beginning, just so I can make sure you understand this entirely. You're going to start in Microsoft Teams and you're going to create a couple projects, maybe just start with one or two, just to kind of get familiar with this.
Okay.
These projects, you can think of these projects as representing types of emails that you're getting.
Okay.
Once you've done that, you can jump to Outlook and you'll click on an email. In your toolbar, it sounds like you have it installed, so you should see Send to Project. You should see that option. Do you see that in your Outlook toolbar?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So you'll click on this, and it's going to bring up the Priority Matrix extension for you. So now what happens is, first and foremost, where it says Project, this is where you'll see the projects that you've created in Microsoft Teams already.
Beautiful.
Cool. So you'll click the project. You can prioritize it based off of, typically how urgently you need to get back to it. Most importantly, you want to click your due date, and then we hit create action item, and you should then see it back in your project through Teams. Does that make sense?
Does make sense. So essentially, I'm hearing that I just tag them kind of one at a time. And I guess my follow-up question would be, is there a way to kind of set up rules so that emails kind of from certain places are automatically going to certain projects?
Yeah, there absolutely is. And that's really one of the biggest use cases recently, is helping people kind of automate that process and take out the manual work. So yes, you can most definitely 100% set up Outlook rules. So similar emails are automatically getting integrated into your priority matrix. And I'll follow up with you actually, and I'll send you an article specifically about setting up those rules.
Okay, thanks for your help. I appreciate this. Great job today.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. With that being said, that actually it reminds me of one other thing that I wanted to show you all, and then we'll do more questions. But a really common question is, okay, so let's say I'm getting an email from a customer, and then the next day I get another email, and then another email comes in, and they're all, they're all closely related. And what people don't want to have happen is they look at their priority matrix and there's 10 action items that are pretty much identical. So to avoid that, what you can do is you would actually utilize the open priority matrix option. And what we're doing here is we're getting some insight into our action items that we already have in priority matrix. So maybe you go to similar and we'll type in license to find that email that I've already prioritized. So again, rather than saying create a new action item, we're saying let's attach this email to the task I already have. And you can do this as many times as you want. So when you look at that action item in your priority matrix, here we see resources, we'd be able to see all of the linked emails, again, just to kind of bundle it together and keep everything nicely organized. So that was kind of kind of a side note there. What other questions can I answer for you all? And if you guys are, don't have any questions, that's perfectly fine. I do have a couple prepared questions that, typically do come up and will probably be helpful for you guys to understand. So I'll keep you pulled up on my other screen just in case more questions do come up. The first common question is, can I test priority matrix with my team? Yes, you most definitely can do this. We offer a free 2-week trial to allow you to really get in there, try out all of our integrations, and you can do it with your teammates. When that trial ends, we have a couple different tiers of licensing, starting at just $5 per user per month, going up to all the way up to kind of an enterprise style license, which can really vary depending on the size and the needs for the team. Your IT hopefully doesn't need to approve priority matrix. We have our Microsoft 365 certification, which means our application has the same level of security as your Office tools, which is amazing that we were able to get that. It took our company probably about a year to go through that process. So with that being said, a lot of companies have pre-approved priority matrix, which is amazing. Your company is not able to see your projects. In fact, for the most part, they don't even need to know that you're testing it out if you're worried about that. The only time people can see your projects is when you actually take that step and share it with them. Lastly, in regards to support and training, and this is kind of a little plug for myself and my next upcoming webinars, but throughout the month of January, I think I'm hosting I think it's 5 more webinars at this point, ranging from an intro, which will be next Friday, all the way to, how I see managers and leaders being most successful with priority matrix. I'm going to send you all a follow-up email with, number 1, a link to all of those webinars where you can register again for free. And I'm going to send you this recorded webinar so you can share it with your teammates who you think this may be helpful for. That's just kind of a snippet of what we offer. On our YouTube page, you might be already sick of me just after this 35-minute presentation, but hopefully not, because for the most part, I've actually created the majority of our YouTube tutorials. I do my best to keep them short, just a couple of minutes, but they cover, dozens of different topics actually to kind of help you learn more. And then lastly, our business and enterprise customers actually have access to customized training, hopping on, one-on-one or team calls with me, kind of ongoing, to make sure that, they're up to speed with the latest integrations and features and whatnot. So with that being said, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. We're coming up on the almost 40-minute mark for this meeting. So last call for questions. Happy to stick around and answer any more that may come up. If you don't have any right now and they come up later on, shoot an email to me. You can just respond actually to the email that I send you. David, it looks like we have you for a question. So I allowed your mic, and now you should be able to unmute yourself. Let's see. It looked like you were unmuted for a second there.
Yeah, it's got its mind of its own.
Hey, David,
So-
thanks for joining.
I'd want my whole IT team to probably, Jim, it's gonna be more in a couple of weeks, maybe more in a month. I mean, probably be, and we're willing to pay the price to do it, but
Mhm.
so what's the price for 5 or 10? Are they still $5 a piece? If I want to get just a department to give it a whirl before blowing out the whole company.
Yeah, so I think I understood the first part of your question, but if you feel like 2 weeks is not enough time for that trial, that's it. Of course, it's not a problem. I want you to really fully feel comfortable with it before moving forward. So we can even set you up for a 30-day trial. I've done longer than that in the past if that's needed. The licensing is on a per user basis. So if you have 10 people in your department, it would be a 10 user priority matrix license, starting at $5 per user per month.
Yeah.
Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
The only other way
Sounds
people
good.
see your project is if I get the bill and I know you're charging me another $5. by the way.
True. Yeah. That would
I
definitely
can see it.
Yep. That's a telltale sign if
Yeah.
you're getting billed for
If
something.
I look at the invoices, I can see it. Yeah.
That's funny, David, and I'll follow up with you kind of separately as well, and I'll send you the link to our pricing page if you want to explore that in more
Yeah,
detail.
I'll probably just go and put myself on a 2-week trial, and then
Mhm.
I want to put everybody, once I look at it for 2 weeks, I want to put
Right.
us all together for a month, probably.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
thanks.
this is a great time to do that because, like I said, I've really jam-packed January with a bunch of
I've got a
webinars,
lot of
which
projects going on. So I
yeah.
gotta-
No worries, David. Well, you can also watch them kind of at your convenience as well. I record all of them, and they're all uploaded to YouTube right after.
Yeah, I'll shoot this to a couple of people in the department and let them look at it, but I think it would help everybody, especially in January. Everybody puts off projects, Thanksgiving to now, and then all of a sudden there's an
Mhm.
emergency.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much. Perfect. Well, with that being said, I think we'll go ahead and end the webinar a little bit early today. Hopefully you were able to block off a whole hour so you have, 20 minutes left to yourself where you can, take a walk outside or get some more coffee. But yeah, thank you all so much for your time today. I hope that this was helpful, and you feel like you're able to kind of get started, get up and running with PM and Office. Keep an eye out for my email. Like I said, any questions you have, just respond back to me. And the email is actually coming from myself. It's not automated, so we will be able to stay in touch. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.